I'd like to welcome everybody who tuned in to another edition of Treasures. And before I begin this message, I just want to thank all the people that subscribe to our channel. Please watch these messages, like them, and share it with someone else. And we would really appreciate that very much. Today's title is The Priest That Didn't Die, and that's Treasure 136. In today's treasure, we're going to find out who was going to kill the priests in Israel and why the priests didn't die. This is a treasure right here. Now, the person who wanted to kill the priest is well known in history and the biblical account. His name was Alexander the Great, a fierce Greek warrior. When the Greeks overtook the Persian Empire, Alexander the Great established his headquarters in Babylon. Alexander began conquering other nations from Egypt to India and enlarged his territory. Think about that. That's amazing how much territory that Alexander the Great, who was young, took all this territory. And after conquering Syria and Tyrus, Alexander sent a letter to the high priest in Jerusalem, and all he wanted was some provisions for his army. Well, the high priest sent a letter stating that while Darius was still living, the Jews would support him, their ruler. This response angered Alexander the Great, who then intended to travel to Jerusalem to kill the priests. Very serious, very serious. Months later, after capturing Gaza, that's in the news today. Think about it. Gaza, the Gaza Strip. Alexander and a group of soldiers headed toward Jerusalem to fulfill Alexander's vow to kill the priests. Not just one, the priests, more than one. Judah, the high priest at the time, became filled with fear. I could understand that. Here's a young man who's conquering, the world basically for his territory, and he is going to come there and kill him. No wonder he was in fear, and I'm sure we all would have been. He became filled with fear and called the other priests for special prayer. During the priest's prayer, the priest called for sacrifices. Probably a good idea. The high priest, now listen to this. This is very important. Don't miss the treasure in this treasure that I'm talking about now. The high priest dreamed, there's a hint, that the priest should wear white and he should wear his royal priestly garments. He was instructed in the dream to have no fear. Can you imagine? Well, we know the meaning of dreams in the Bible. Who else had dreamed? Daniel interpreted Nebuchadnezzar's dreams that were very important. Now, when Alexander the Great arrived in Jerusalem, he saw the procession of priests dressed in white and the high priest in his colorful garments. And Alexander commenced to salute the high priest. And so Alexander's soldiers were confusing at why he, the leader of the world, would give honor to a Jewish high priest after what they denied him food. Alexander answered, I saw this very person in a dream. There it is, dream. In this very habit when I was in Dios in Macedonia, who, when I was considering with myself how I might obtain the dominion of Asia, exhorted me to make no delay, but bodily to pass over the sea, for he would conduct my army and give me dominion over the Persians. Wow. Now, this research I did, and it was taken out of Perry Stone's book, Breaking the Jewish Code. I personally have read this book, and I highly recommend it. Highly recommend the book. Think about what this dream did. Because of Alexander didn't kill the priest, But Alexander offered a sacrifice to God, Yahweh, at the altar and at the temple. Josephus, the Jewish historian, reported one very interesting part of the story. And when the book of Daniel was showed him, Alexander the Great, wherein Daniel declared that one of the Greeks should destroy the empire of the Persians, he supposed that he himself was the person intended to do that. And he stopped taxes until the 7th year, gave Jews in Media and Persia ability to make their own laws. And that reference is taken out of Josephus' book 11, chapter 1. Now let's read Zechariah 9:8, New King James Version. It reads this way: I will camp around my house because of the army, because of him who passes by and him who returns. No more shall an oppressor pass through them, for now I have seen with my eyes. It's a powerful scripture. So because Alexander the Great devastated Syria, Lebanon, and Gaza, if you read the first chapter 9, read 1 through 7, and then verse 8, it'll make sense. It is possible that this simple prophecy may have been fulfilled with the amazing historical event that Josephus reported hundreds of years later. Think about that. See how important dreams are? Very, very important. The word dreams is mentioned in the Bible 28 times. This is being fulfilled today. In Joel chapter 2, verse 28, New King James Version, it reads this way: and it shall come to pass afterward that I, God, will pour out my spirit on all flesh, no exceptions. Your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams. Your young men shall see visions. So you see how God can speak to people in a dream? If you have a dream and it's from God, normally the next morning when you wake up, you will remember all the details. According to some of Perry Stone's books on visions and dreams, you will remember it, and you should write down the facts. So I hope you enjoyed this treasure and it gave you more knowledge. Till we meet again, may the Lord bless you and keep you in 2024.